しまうのなんか逆らえる気がしないんだただただシンプルに僕ら生きとし生けるだけのなんかでも得体の知れないワンダー You make me wonder ドラマの中に迷い込んだ結末を知らないアクター君と僕との相関図がまだ空白激秘なんだ笑い合いたいくせになんか傷つけ合っちゃうのはなんでだこんなはずじゃなかったばっか君と僕にはどんなルールやヒントが存在するんだろう L と R のよりも同士で混ざりたいステレオ恋愛対象どうだろう攻撃対象違うとも本当かどうかもわからないもの知れたいもの僕らの関係値はどのくらい測れやしないの Why 君を知りたい知られたい知られ合った時の期待値はどのくらいたどり着きたい愛が他は知らない探したい君だけが Make me wonder You make me wonder You make me wonder 検索してもやっぱ参考にならない感が僕を熱くさせるファクター理解に苦しみなかった君のいいとこ君悪いとこそこのないそこ知ってくほどイコールじゃないイコールになれないところがまた最高にファンだ正解もルールもヒントも変わる思い出してよ L と R の向こうにも訪れた空間の不確か仮に恋愛対象そうでもハッピーなエンドじゃないことざらにあるそうでしょ悲しみのリスクもでっかいだろうなんて正論が深いな僕らの関係触れたい触れられたい強烈な何かは甘いだけじゃない痛みの予感で僕を酔わしていく傷つきたくない冗談じゃない浮かれた僕が嫌いな自分も嫌い心がバグっていく僕らの関係値はどのくらい測れやしないのは君を知りたい知られたい知られ合った時の実態値はどのくらいもしこの未来愛が存在しないとはじゃないどうしても僕のこの現在値は変わらない変えるほど弱くはない君を知りたい知られたい知られ合った結末がどうでも構わないたどり着きたい愛がそれすら見たい感じたい君だけが Make me wonderやっぱ Hate me wonder 呆れちゃうほど You make me wonder
Hello everyone, my name is Moot Monthly, and welcome to the first stream of the new year. We've been having a lot of fun last few days. It's been a little quieter than usual. Oh wait, was that okay? It's been a little quieter than usual. Of course, the Terra Leak has kind of dried up almost entirely for the most part, and we've been wondering what's coming next. We've been looking to see, do we have any sort of new info? Do we have any sort of fun stuff to pass up January while we get ready for Pokemon Day? And the answer is yeah, actually. There is. By way of the anime leak scene, actually. As I've been saying for the past several months now, this arc is the last arc of Pokemon Horizons, and for a variety of factors, this will lead to the Gen 10 anime starting earlier than most people were expecting. Now, of course, what this likely means is that given time frames of marketing and stuff, at most what we would see in an earlier start date would just be like the starters and stuff. So I'm expecting that the beginning of the anime probably won't have much to do with the Gen 10 region, if I were to guess. But it does seem that that's where we're going. Pokemon Horizons has always been planned to be a 3-year series. Even before any of these newer leaks came out regarding the actual production. People saw in the Terra League, with the pitch docs and everything, it was always planned and structured to be a 3-year series. They were never intending to really go beyond that. And I've talked about this before, but I kind of have a little bit of a wider audience now, so I feel like I should reiterate a few key points about how the production of the Pokemon anime works. So, as you guys know, even if you don't watch the anime, you probably know this. The Pokemon anime releases every week, right? Of course, there might be breaks every now and then, like for the holidays or whatever, but it's a weekly show. They release an episode every week, generally. So, what does that mean? How does that actually work? Well, as you might expect, releasing a weekly television series is much more difficult than releasing a seasonal one. So, when I say seasonal, I'm talking about shows like Jujutsu Kaisen, for example, which just had its first couple episodes air the last couple days. They'll do like 13 episodes in a year, right? Or every 2 years, right? That's a seasonal anime. Of course, being seasonal means that they have a lot more time to produce each and every episode. Generally, they have a higher budget, and there's a much bigger marketing push behind them because they're limited. But the Pokemon anime doesn't work like that. It's a weekly show. It's kind of like One Piece in that way. But One Piece is run by Toei, which is a much larger company. The Pokemon anime is run by Oriental Light and Magic, which is a anime studio that was created by what would be the chief director of the Pokemon anime, Kunihiko Uyama, and it runs from week to week. The main show that OLM does is the Pokemon anime. It's their main thing. But even they can't really do it alone, even though their studio was originally made to make the show. It wasn't made to make Pokemon, but it became the studio's bread and butter for a long time. What Pokemon does, or what OLM does, is they have a couple of what are called in-house teams. So these are teams that are made up by directors, animators, and such who are contracted or are direct employees of OLM. They are like animators that are associated with the studio. They will work on Pokemon. Sometimes they get pulled to go work on other seasonal shows. For example, the main big show that OLM has been doing in conjunction with Pokemon Horizons was Apothecary Diaries. So if any of you guys are like, little romance fans or whatever, you've probably heard of that one. They are also the studio in charge of that show. And occasionally Pokemon animators will go over there. So they have a couple of in-house teams, but that's not enough. 2 animation teams is not enough to do a weekly show. It's not. It's not even close. They actually have around 6 teams at any given time. These are they are it's pretty idiosyncratic. One of the teams is one guy, or 2 guys that do the key animation and storyboarding. That's the famous, actually legendary animator Masaki Iwane. He does all the key animation for his episodes by himself, for the most part. Sometimes there are exceptions, but he's one of the teams is just one guy. Then they have a few other teams for different associated studios that are contracted to work with OLM. So there's Studio Takuranke. There is Studio Ekakia, which I don't know if they still do episodes anymore. I haven't really been looking at the staff list recently, and there are a couple other studios, as well as a few outsourcing slots. So occasionally all 6 teams are occupied. They're not able to make an episode, so they'll contract like a Chinese studio or something to do an episode. These are usually the episodes that are famous for their choppy or goofy animation, by the way. You'll see whenever they do an episode, you always see people complaining on Twitter, being like, "What happened to the Pokemon anime?" You know, they no longer work on Pokemon since April 2025. Okay, got it. And that's actually one thing I'm going to talk about in a bit. So we have all of these animation teams, right? These people, like when you talk about weekly anime, what I want to talk about with these teams is that there's a lot of people that work on the show, like hundreds and hundreds of people, way more than you would think work on the show. It's a pretty big production, and it's actually a production that very few studios have the pipeline to do anymore. Um, Given a variety of factors like COVID, the sort of the pushing the buck of how good TV animation is. So like, I'm talking about like Sakuga, like fancy animation, right? Like people are expecting crazy animation shows now, like One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, Mushoku Tensei, all these crazy shows that have amazing animation. People are expecting that from shows now. Oh, they're on Beyblade X, so they're still affiliated with OLM. Interesting. So because people are expecting greater animation, studios or production committees are pushing their animators to animate more and also better for like the same price and even limited time frames, right? It's a problem. So because of that, a lot of studios who used to do weekly anime aren't able to do so anymore because they are pushing for high tier seasonal content that tends to sell more and all that. As a result, like one of the big weekly anime studios was I don't know how to pronounce this word, Pierrot or something. They're the studio behind Naruto, Bleach, Black Clover, right? These were all pretty big weekly shows that aren't weekly anymore. And the reason for that is that the studio is no longer able to produce those shows on a weekly level, production-wise. It's cooked. They can't do it. It's kind of amazing that OLM is able to still do that. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh, that's true. Yu-Gi-Oh does do it, but also Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh has ever really had the same tier of animation as Pokemon had. Like it's just like, of course there's like you can do a weekly show that doesn't look very good, but like Pokemon doesn't want their show to look bad. Pokemon has always been visually interesting at the very least. With that said, the big thing now that we're talking about weekly anime, right? I've kind of established weekly anime difficult to do for a lot of companies. Pokemon is still maintaining it by bringing in a lot of other companies to work with them. And it's something that they continuously have to do. Here is the third factor of weekly anime, okay? And it's in the way that they contract animators and employees. It's the biggest difference between weekly anime and seasonal anime. Seasonal anime is actually a lot more flexible in the way they do things, but with weekly anime, they're usually bringing on their creatives with yearly contracts, okay? So every like year or 45 episodes or whatever, they will usually have a minor production line overhaul. Like some director would leave, or they add in a new producer, or some animation teams get shuffled up, that sort of thing every year. So it had always been that the Pokemon anime started in November, right? Like November or whenever the new gen started. This changed with Horizons due to that 6-month delay. Now, due to the Terra leak, we now know that it was a combination. The delay was a result of a combination of pre-production issues for Horizons as well as the production committee being a little unsatisfied with the ending of Journeys as an ending for Ash in general and wanting to do more for Ash's send-off, right? Which is how we got Mazase Pokemon Master. So, because of this 6-month delay, it's now offset from whenever the release date of the new Pokemon games is. However, even though the anime is fundamentally an advertisement for the games as well as any other merchandise the Pokemon Company is selling, it still has its own production circumstances. It would be very, very difficult for them to not do a yearly production schedule. So they would have to rewrite contracts for like a few months as a, like let's just say like, oh, well we know this is not going to happen, but let's just say, oh, well, Pokemon OLM is like, okay, well, Gen 10 isn't starting until November or October or whatever. So why don't we just write another arc or do like a little mini series or something for 6 months? That's like a pretty expensive undertaking for them. It's not easy to do something like that, especially when it wasn't planned to begin with. Um, Horizons is not going to be extended. I think that's the biggest. Do we actually know for sure? I have been told on good authority, like, I mean, I know people at the production and all that. Like, I can tell you for almost a certainty that it's wrapping up in like 13 episodes. It's done. Like, this is it. Arc 6 is it. It's done. I am, of course, they could have some last minute change somehow and do some crazy shit, of course, right? It's not nothing sure unless it happens, but with the most certainty that I could possibly give without saying, yeah, it's 100% sure, yeah, it's not happening. Like, it's done. The movie would be cool. That would be a way, because they usually release movies in the summer. That could be a way of kind of maintaining things. But there are a few issues with just saying it's going to be a movie, and I'll get into that. Um, for the most part, when you're talking about like yearly schedules, we've had every April, right? Coming in, that's like it started in April of 2023. Then in April of 2024, we had a director change. The action director of the first year of Horizons left the show. Tetsuo Yajima. He's also known as the director of XYZ and XY. So he left the show. And then in April of 2025, we got like a new producer and some other stuff. Like not anything super crazy, just like production desk stuff. Like not it's like secretaries and stuff. Don't really like think. And then now in April 2026, it's the end of the show. Like the show is done. Is actually just done. Like from a plot standpoint, there isn't really much left for them to do. Even if you're thinking of it like that, like all they really have to do at some point is go to the explorer's hideout and then beat up Spinel and then get him arrested, and that's the end of the show. Like I don't think you guys realize there isn't really like the actual narrative doesn't really have a whole lot left at all. It really doesn't matter. Like the plot holes and stuff is like they'll wrap it up with one thing this writing team is really good at is stuffing a lot of stuff into one episode. So I'm pretty sure like a lot of the plot holes and stuff will just get like hand waved or written out. Like it's not really a big deal. Like the actual narrative is pretty much done. Like there's going to be a big fight with Mega Rayquaza and 100% or maybe even Mega Zygarde. That's it. It's not going to be that crazy. They're already making there's no way they're gonna use 100% Zygarde more than once, and they're already making merch of 100% shiny Zygarde. Like it's already we're wrapping up. Like I know it kind of sucks because it feels like Arc 5 kind of meandered a lot. They didn't really use their time very well in the last couple arcs, but this was a while coming. It has not been good. I'm gonna make a YouTube video, probably my first ever actual YouTube video about sort of the behind the scenes of the Horizons production last year, but this is not. Bro, we need 18. I mean, I'm sure that between the Rising Volt Tacklers, Amethio, and all them, and Diana, I'm pretty sure they've got more than 18 Pokemon. No, they've got a lot of Pokemon already. Like they've got a lot of Pokemon already, bro. Like they might have to get a few new ones to satisfy certain types, but that's like one episode prospects, if that. It's not really a big deal. They've got a lot of Pokemon. Like Diana coming in, she's got 5 Pokemon, man. She's actually stacked. She has more Pokemon than any of the MCs, which is kind of weird when you think about it. I think she has the most Pokemon of any named character in the show. actually. Yeah, wait, what is that? Yeah, no, they'll be powerful through the power of friendship or something. So the thing is, Big Bang Pegasus Master. Oh, so you're a Beyblade fan? Okay. Um, so the direction for Horizons has been pretty bad. Okay, I don't really want to get into it too much, but it is very likely that they decided they wanted to do this chase thing, and then later on realized they don't have the time for it, and they're gonna hand wave it somehow. Um, that is like they don't know what they want, and the reason why is because they have a brand new director for this show, and she doesn't know how to direct a TV show. I mean, it is what it is. Ever since like the first year, like the whole thing has kind of gone to crap in regards to direction. Um, I'm not going to get into that because I don't think you guys are here for me to hear that me rant about that again. But suffice it to say, there are multiple factors for why I think, or rather I know, that Horizons is ending. I'm going to kind of list them out, okay? Well, they couldn't force Yajima to say. He went on to work on other projects. I'm sure it was really like a favor the reason he stuck on so long. Anyway, first reason. I literally got told that the production teams are moving on to Gen 10 anime soon. Okay, that's the first thing. Is that the production actually is just pretty much over. It's not over yet. They haven't communicated the final number of episodes to streaming services yet, but I got told from someone who's, I don't want to, expose them or whatever, but they are in, it's official info. It's not from like some leaker or hacker or whatever. It's like dead ass official info that they're moving on to Gen 10. They've already been doing some test footage and their animation software for it, all that. Like, it's donezo, okay? But if you don't just want my word for it, there are a few other reasons. First reason is that yearly production schedule that I mentioned to you. This is like, it might sound like not like, it sounds kind of esoteric for me to say it like that, but it genuinely is like an almost a hard line thing for them. It is very difficult to do that. House Horizons on viewership side of things. The first year and a half was extremely popular on TV. It was actually beating out Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 week to week in viewership when that was airing. But after like during arc 4 and afterwards, it's kind of fallen off heavily. However, in Japan, that is. In global streaming, like on Netflix, it has been very popular, and that's part of the reason that the Pokemon Company is actually pretty happy with the way Horizons turned out. They like the sort of new approach to the world and stuff, as well as, of course, the global streaming numbers being pretty good. So, in that sense, it was a success. Merch also sells pretty well, so they're not really. It's not like a Tortanic situation or anything like that. The third reason, and this is actually something that Dami brought up this morning, is that uh, the dub episode listing, which has been proven to be completely accurate for every yearly episode length, is 13 episodes left. There's 136 episodes total, according to the dub. For the third year, there's 13 episodes from where we are right now. And that does track with March, April. So it's like there's multiple different reasons as to why this is like it's ending. Like we don't know it's ending. It seems like it's kind of fast for it to end this way, but you have to realize that the finale of the show is going to be like 2 episodes long or 3 episodes long. It's not going to be like there's not going to be a Pokemon League or anything that's like 10 or 15 episodes long. It's just going to be like a little short story finale and that's it. It's done. I think people usually are expecting that. So, Waliko versus Roy. I mean, sure, but like honestly, at this point, who gives a shit? Like, I'm not particularly enthused about Aliko versus Roy. Like, it doesn't really matter. They haven't really ever since like the first couple dozen episodes, which I mean, I could go into so many tangents. it doesn't feel like their relationship has really progressed in any meaningful way. So, it doesn't really matter to me if they battle again. It'll just feel spontaneous. It's like, okay, well, they probably battle each other all the time, so like, who cares? Um, yeah, thank God it ends with Evo P. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I'm excited about is if they keep Toy Factory as their music producer, we could get some crazy openings in Gen 10. We get more Eve openings, some more Yuzu openings, some more others. You know, like we could get some awesome openings, some more awesome music. I really hope. I really hope because I've been wanting an Eve opening for so long, and the opening's actually really good. I really like Lawlight a lot, but it's just unfortunate like how the show turned out. I don't know. Anyway, so that said, let's talk a bit. We talked a lot about Horizons, right? It's probably ending late March, early April. Of course, there could always be some freak reason why they decided to go further, but it seems from everything we've seen, this is it. We're done. So what happens next? This is a question that a lot of people have. It's a question I'm still trying to answer myself, honestly. So, Gen 10 anime. It has been in pre-production since, according to what I've seen, September of 2024. So it's been pre-production for a while now, about a year. It'll be a year and a half by the time Horizons ends. The stereotype composite direction for OP2 is not something you can pull off every time. I meant more of a music sense, Dami, but yeah, that opening was beautiful. That opening was beautiful. Like, it was crazy, dude. Like, the first 25 episodes of Horizons were so good, and they had so much momentum. People were actually watching, and they're like, wait, yo, this show is actually kind of crazy. And then they released that crazy opening, and people were like, okay, well, a lot of people locked in when that happened. And then Arc 2 happened, and it was the most boring. It was like they tried to kill their own show on purpose. Like, I'm still mad. And then they did Arc. I'm not getting into it. I'm not. I've done this rant on live streams like 3 times already. I'm not getting into it again. Okay, Gen 10, Gen 10, Gen 10, Gen 10. I'm not looking at chat. I'm not looking at it. Gen 10. We don't know a whole lot. What we do know is that they've been doing test footage. This is common. It's kind of like alpha testing for a video game, but it's for an anime. They'll do test footage about the characters, any new changes to their animation software, that sort of thing. Trying to get animation pipelines together. It's common for them to do that. And they've been sharing that test footage with the animation staff as of this week. In general, like they've started introducing the wider animation staff to Gen 10. They've shown them the starters, etc. Yes, that info of the starters has been shared. That sort of thing. There's like a lot of production shuffling going on behind the scenes. It seems like the teams are they've been organized, like the production teams I was talking about. So, I said that in the Discord the other day. I was like, the production teams are getting shuffled and everything. And people are like, what does that even mean? What do you mean by that? What I mean is like the animation teams that I was talking about. Those like half a dozen or so animation teams. Those teams have been organized for Gen 10 as of now. People have been assigned to their teams and all that. So, we can say now that the anime is likely around like 4 to 5 months from airing or so. It depends really on their production scheduling and like how soon they want to release the show. But if we're looking at like a 5-month gap, that's pretty good. And that does seem about right from what I've heard about Horizon's production scheduling. So yeah, 5 months is pretty good. Most likely, what we'll be doing is Horizons is going to end maybe in April, and they're probably going to do like a 3-week or like a month break before releasing the new anime. And you might be wondering, Well, why are they releasing the anime now? What's the point? Like there's no games. They can't even show anything from the games because they'd be basically leaking the games, right? They can't show the region or the gym leaders or a lot of the new decks, right? So like what are they even going to do? Now, it's a little obvious, but the Pokemon anime serves as an advertisement. Actually, its entire reason for existing is to serve as an advertisement for merchandise in particular, but also the games. And just advertising the Pokemon world to the consciousness of Japanese school children everywhere. Okay? The show cannot go on break for half a year. It can't. It has a time slot in TV Tokyo, and it would be really bad if they gave up that time slot permanently because they would have to because you know the Pokemon anime airs at 7 p.m. on Friday night. Okay, that's prime time in America. It's prime time in Japan too. I'll tell you that. Like it airs on prime time, so they can't they can't just not not air the show for a while. They need to have a show there, a Pokemon show. So it's probably going to be pretty tough for them. They're probably, the Pokemon company's probably scratching their heads right now, deciding how much they want to show of Gen 10 in the first couple of seasons before, fall 2026 when they can really start showing, different mons from the decks and stuff and the story itself, right? Like, they're probably scratching their heads a lot. They're probably trying to figure it out. Like, what are we doing? They're still going to do it, though. They're still going to find a way. It's going to be pretty scuffed. I'm sure it's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Twitter threads about it. But they're going to find a way. They have to find the way. For so many reasons. There's so many vested interests in the Pokemon anime. Like TV Tokyo, which is the TV station it runs on. They have actually a stake in the contract of the Pokemon anime. They actually make money from it. They make a cut of the merch sales from it. Show Pro, the Pokemon company themselves, Game Freak, all of these companies, Nintendo even, like all of these companies have something of a stake in the Pokemon anime. It's a lot more corporatized than most other anime. And come hell or high water, they will put some kid show on that time slot, and it's going to be a Pokemon one. You can be sure of that. So like they unless they do SM marketing, which honestly I wouldn't even mind at this point. I mean, that would be more fun than leaks, let's be honest. Unless they do SM marketing, we're going to be seeing a pretty awkwardly written first 6 months of the Pokemon anime. We'll have to see. But there is just no way they're not going to air a Pokemon anime. It's going to happen. They might do, it could be something other than Gen 10, right? They could do like MPM2. They could have a 25 episode seasonal about Ash, and he's like off, Pokemon World Championships or whatever, doing whatever. They could do that too, but I don't think they're going to do that. That's just a guess. I'm not saying they're doing that. I don't think they're doing that, but they could do something like that too. It doesn't have to be the Gen 10 anime, but given what we know, given what I've heard in the past couple weeks, it seems like it is going to be a Gen 10 anime, and they're going to introduce starters. Of course, because like when you're like, if it comes out in May, right? They're going to reveal the starters in February. So they're going to show the different starters, and we're just gonna, like they'll be able to use the starters at the start of the anime. So like the main character's gonna have like the fire starter or whatever, and they're gonna know it, right? Like they'd be allowed to use it. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna world jump again. They could do that, but I think the world jumping has actually not been super beneficial for them with regards to advertising the new stuff. Actually, there's been a lot of complaints about the world jumping, and usually the world jumping just ends up like it ends up messing up the pacing of the production and writing and stuff too. Because they have to like, oh, we have to do a Galar arc, oh, we have to do this arc, blah blah blah. Like it doesn't work out very well. I'm thinking we're probably gonna get a pretty big Galar arc because of Legends Galar, but that's like not until like the last year of the show. So I'm hoping that they don't do world jumping because honestly, I'm a little tired of world jumping. And in Journeys, they actually did it fairly well. But in in Horizons, they have not done it pretty well. I've not been really happy with how they've done it. It's been really weird. They could start another region and then go to the Gen 10 region. I mean, that's how Gen 10's game starts too. You're a traveler to that region. I mean, that's how every Pokemon game starts, but this one is a little different. They could do that. That might be preferable. We'll see. All right. So aside from that, think that's pretty much everything. With regards to Gen 10 games, of course, like there's been a lot of info coming out about them. I don't think it's particularly advisable for me to post the starters, so I'm probably not going to. I feel like it's inviting a lot of trouble upon myself that we don't really need, considering that the starters come out what next month. With that said, it would be cool if someone leaked the starters, like posted pictures of them and stuff. But I don't really think anyone has pictures of them. I mean, I don't think anyone does. Um, we'll have to see what happens. I don't think that a whole lot of stuff is gonna be posted. Now, when a trailer gets made for the Gen 10 anime, me and the anime guys will probably get it like a month before it releases. I mean, I'm not even really gatekeeping it. It's just like a matter of, yeah, do you want to go to prison or not? Okay, well, okay, bro. 4chan doesn't. 4chan is not a safe place to post leaks, man. If they want to get you, they can just subpoena 4chan, and 4chan will just snitch you. Like, it's whatever. But of course, if I really want to, I would like go to a library somewhere and like 50 miles from my house and like go post it from there. But I'm not really particularly that interested. Anyway. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Let me look. Oh yeah. I mean, this is a given, of course, but Liko and Roy are not going to be in the Gen 10 anime. That's the big thing. Do we know the animals? We know some of the animals. We know a couple of the animals, but not. I don't know if we know all the animals yet. Boop a doop a doo doo doo. Anyway, what colors are the starters? Well, bro, come on, Brett. Red, blue, and green, bro. Colors are the starters. I don't know, man. I mean, that's like generic Yugi. Like, even if even if that stuff was real, like it doesn't mean anything. Like any Pokemon can jump high. Like it doesn't like water swims fast. What does that even mean, dog? Like even if that was real, which the guy said it wasn't real. The guy who posted that said he was trolling. But even if it was real, like, oh, yeah, he swims fast, bro. He's a fish, bro. He swims fast. No shit. Every water type swims fast. That's like their whole thing. Any guesses on what the Gaia pro tags will be? They'll just be original characters again. Probably. I think one thing about the Horizons that didn't really work out was Liko in particular. And I mean, they really knew it, right? They kind of leaned into Roy more the past year. Um, they will most likely go back to a male lead. The female lead was really interesting. It was actually really interesting the first arc, but they didn't want to lean into. It's so weird. It's so dumb. Like I don't really want to get into it too much, but the executives basically saw the writers doing what they wanted, doing what the executives wanted, and they were like, whoa, 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 don't go so far down that road. What are you talking about? Like, dial it back a bit. And then they fell into the same problems that the Ashitame fell into, and it's just like like these people are never gonna change, man. Like it's always gonna be the same slop. I don't know. But I don't think they're going to be doing the Liko thing anymore because also I don't think that Liko's like shojo magazine stuff sold very well, so I don't think they're going to do like a female pro tag again. I don't think. But it's probably going to be another couple original characters. Probably a guy and a girl again. I mean, guy and girl works well, but they didn't really do it very well in Horizons. Like Roy and Liko have almost no dynamic together. It's I thought that in Mega Voltage they were going to have more of a dynamic, and you know, a dynamic doesn't have to be like a romance or a ship or anything. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It can just be them being better friends and stuff and being more perceptive of each other and even having arguments at times, but that shit like never happened. Like the first couple of episodes of Mega Voltage, I was like, damn. Like remember, I did a live stream where I was literally writing out like whole pages of notepad stuff about like the relationships between the characters because it was so interesting. And then they just like stopped doing it. I'm just okay, bro, okay, man. You just don't care. It's fine. I don't care about it being Gen 10 at the 30th anniversary. Well, what did you want Gen 9 to not have 1,000 Pokemon? Like, okay, it had to, unless they had 50 Pokemon in Gen 9. That doesn't make any sense. Of course they care about it being Gen 10, bro. Like, I can tell you for a fact that like the 30th anniversary is going to be the wildest year of Pokemon ever. Okay, I'm saying ever. Okay, 2016 was crazy. Had Pokemon Go. It had Sun and Moon. You know, it had XYZ. Like 2016 was insane to be a Pokemon fan, right? You had XYZ. You had Pokemon Go. You were literally going outside, and you were the Pokemon nerds were the cool guys for the first time ever in high school. That was crazy. I was so popular in high school because I was a sophomore in high school when Pokemon Go came out. I was so popular in high school for being like the goat with like a crazy ass high CP Dragonite and everything. Like I was the goat of my high school for like a year because of Pokemon Go. Now, then they had Sun and Moon, and they had the TCG stuff, and they had a bunch of other things, right? Like it was wild to be a Pokemon fan during that time. Like, and now 2022 was also crazy to be a Pokemon fan. 2022 was insane. With Scarlet and Violet, with the end of Journeys, all that, like it was pretty wild. But this year is gonna be the year. I've heard some crazy shit about Gaia. I'm sure you guys have heard some crazy shit about Gaia. Like Gaia is gonna be the game. The game, bro. I'm so ready. That's why I called the server GAIACHADS, because I knew back then how crazy this year was gonna be and how fun it was gonna be too. Like it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hear me out. It's filming. They do a Horizons and Ash anime crossover. Well, here's the thing. They would have to do like they're not gonna extend Horizons. It's just not gonna happen. Like I don't like they I guess they could, but they're not going to. Like I told you, they're going to Gen 10, man. Like it's just not going to happen. I don't know. Like if I'm wrong, I will personally I will personally do an apology something. You guys will get to vote on, you know, like whether you have to make me dance or sing or like do a cooking live stream or whatever. And we'll figure it out. But I am insanely doubtful that they're going to do anything other than a like multi-week break into Gen 10 anime. It's just like it is what it is. It would be funny if Ash came back for the Gen 10 anime. I would actually be like, for all that I liked Horizons and its more meaningful writing and stuff, like, I mean, it's Ash, bro. Like, I would, I would go crazy. Yeah, graphics are going to be pretty crazy, I think. Not only with like the actual textures and stuff, but with like the wind and water simulations and stuff. It's very clear that they want the weather and the environment to be a lot more dynamic. Uh, Not just like the actual graphics themselves. Like, it's going to be a lot more interesting in motion to see all the different stuff. I would say it keeps a similar art style, Molly. The reason why it's keeping a similar art style is because in Gen 8, in Journeys, I forgot his name. The chief animation designer of Journeys basically designed every single important character in the Pokemon franchise in the Journeys and Horizons art style. Horizons is basically the Journeys art style with like some slight color changes and stuff. Yasuda, yes. Um, Yasuda design, yeah, Shuhei Yasuda, he designed pretty much all of the Pokemon characters in all 8 gens in the Journeys Horizons art style. And it's a very dynamic art style. It lets them do a lot of different things. And it's like if they did a new art style, they would have to like redraw all of those characters at some point, and it's like they don't want to do that, right? It's just easier to keep it this art style, and it's a good art style. It's pretty good, so I'm fine with it because the art style is flexible. It can be more detailed or less detailed depending on what they want to do, so it's pretty good. Yeah, composite and coloring the art. Yeah, I agree. I think the compositing, like the coloring of Horizons, has been like one of the weakest parts about it, if I were to say. Anyways, I think that's pretty much everything. Let me look again. Doop doo 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 doo. All right. But is there any other questions you guys have before I end the stream? Oh, I should probably talk about my plans a little bit. I don't know if I talked about this on the last stream or not, but there's a few different things we're gonna be doing this year. Moot house tour, please. No. Maybe one day I will. My family's here and stuff right now, so I don't want to like dox them or anything. Will we like the starters? I mean, I like the starters. I mean, I like what I've heard about them, but I haven't heard a lot about them. You didn't hear that. Upside down here, girl. I don't think anyone's. None of the Terra Elite guys hate me so much. They're not gonna send me any. They're they're on lock and key, bro. It is. I'm never seeing that dolphin hair girl until it until she gets revealed in in the marketing, if she even exists anymore. It's fine though. I want it to be Fire Dark, the bad starter. It should be Fire Dark. I don't really care about flying types that much. Like, we have enough flying types. Like, come on, bro. How's Gen 10 graphics compared to Scarlet and Violet? I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the game. I haven't seen gameplay of it. I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. I hope it's better. It should be better, considering a Gen 10 exclusive. Did you like the Star Gen 9 starters personally? Honestly, no, I did not. I actually didn't use my Gen 9 starters at all. I picked Fuecoco, and about like level 17 or 19, I put him in the box. I never used him again. I used just various other Pokemon. Um, yeah. I didn't use my starter in ZA either. I didn't like the ZA starters either. I picked Embor, and he got to a Pig Knight at like level 21, and I boxed him for something else, for like Houndoom or something. Like I really did not care for the starters the last couple sets either. I actually like Meowscarada now, probably because of the anime. I actually like it a lot. I like it a lot more than Scaldurge, that's for sure. Valentine's Day? No, I mean maybe I'll post some stuff, but it's like unless someone really decides to just go crazy and start, leaking things, like I'm probably not gonna post anything. Like at that point, it's 2 weeks away, and it's like just like what the fuck, like what's the point? Like you're just, I mean, at that point you're just like ruining the experience. But of course, after Pokemon Day happens, if I get new leaks or stuff, then I'll post them. But regards to like the actual initial reveal, it's like, do you really want to be that guy who who like, because if I post something, Centro's gonna post it, a bunch of other people are gonna post it, and then like it or not, people who don't want to see leaks will end up getting beamed in the head by them. And I'm not I'm not saying that I'm going to be some moralistic leaker or whatever, because I'm really not. I really don't give a shit. But I am sure that if I was like, oh, well, the fire type starter is fucking blah, 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 and then, I'll get nuked from orbit, I'm sure. Like, I'm not an idiot. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. All right. Well, thank y'all for watching. I will probably do a live stream sometime in the next month. I'm not really sure when, but it's gonna be fun. And if I get any more news about the anime, check out GAIACHADS. I was considering making a new Discord for the Gen 10 anime, but I'm thinking that we'll just stick with GAIACHADS. I'll just like make a couple anime channels, or maybe an anime category, and you'll like just have to opt into seeing it, like with a role or something. And that I might do that today, actually. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe if you haven't. Follow me on Twitter. Join the GAIACHADS Discord. Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Maybe next time we'll do a game stream. Cause I'm kind of, yeah, Brock. I'm gonna do it because I want to tie it to a role and stuff. I'll set it up, but yeah, I'm probably gonna start doing game streams on here again. I used to do a lot of Pokerogue streams. I really enjoyed doing that. But recently, we've had so many Yap streams. It's like I gotta have some fun, on this. All right, see you guys. Bye.